Happy holidays. Today we're feeding the animals at White Fence Farm. White Fence Farm's a great place to take family and friends for some down-home Americana this winter. So join us as we visit with the owners of this longtime Lakewood establishment. Coming up next on Lakewood, Open for Business.
That looks like, well, it's Mike Stevens. How are you?
Charlie, how are you? Good to see you again.
I knew you were coming over, and having
thanks
fun.
for the invite.
Having fun with the critters?
I am. They're something. Boy, they're very friendly.
Those are just little alfalfa pellets, but we call them critter candy because the animals just go crazy over it.
Charlie, I remember bringing my kids here and feeding the animals. What was the idea behind having them here at the restaurant?
When we first opened as Wilson's, we didn't have animals in the corral here. We had animals on the farm around the restaurant. Now that that part of the farm has disappeared, we have the critters in here. And so it's just a fun thing for kids to come and pet the animals and feed them, and adults like yourself find it a lot of fun too.
So you grew up here on this farm, didn't you?
I did. I grew up on just the other end of the farm. Standing here, you used to be able to look across the field and see it, but there's a lot in between there and the house I grew up in. And so it's always been a special place to me.
So Charlie, when did it become White Fence Farm?
We opened in 1973 and ran it for 7 years, from 73 through 80. We originally served lunch and dinner, then we went to serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But I tell you what, the restaurant business is a tough business. And after doing that, we just decided we had to make some changes because we were working day and night. It was just really pushing us to the limit. And honestly, it wasn't terribly profitable either. And so we started to look around the country. We decided we were either going to have to close the business up, or we wanted to change the concept to something that would be more workable and doable. And we became aware of a restaurant in Chicago called White Fence Farm. It's owned by the Hastert family. It had been operating there since the mid-50s, and it was a terribly successful restaurant. We had a restaurant concept that was similar to theirs, but didn't have the same menu. I'd love to say that the fried chicken recipe is my great-great-great-grandma's, but it's not.
The area really has grown up around you. What was it like growing up here?
Well, it was a great place to grow up as a kid because it was fields all around. I used to go down to the creek, and I had a horse. Champ was his name, favorite horse, and we had cattle here. And we ran cattle for years and years, but the straw that broke the camel's back, I should say, was one day at lunch. We were serving lunch and I got a call, and the cattle were out and they were in the neighborhood back behind us. And so I had to leave here during a lunch rush and go chase the cattle in from the neighbors' yards, and they weren't terribly excited about having cattle tromping around in their yards. So Mike, I was telling you about the chickens. They're right over here in our chicken coop.
So Charlie, how do you take care of all the animals you have here?
Thankfully, it's really not all that difficult. We have a fellow by the name of Tony who heads up our maintenance group. We actually have about 3 people on our maintenance group. There's 12 acres here on the farm, so there's a lot to do as far as landscaping and trimming and that sort of thing. But twice a day they feed the animals. So it's really not too difficult. We brush the animals out. We have a vet that comes and takes care of them. Okay, so Mike, one of the things I want to show you here is what we call the Country Cottage. This was one of the first gift shops that we opened up. And before we want to go in, I want to tell you, if you look at this, it's a long, narrow building. When my grandfather originally put these other buildings on the property, he bought an old refrigerated railroad car. He moved it on the property. I have no idea how in the world they got it here. But I come along in 1972 and there's a railroad car sitting on the property, and we didn't know what to do with it. So I said, well, let's just build around it. And so what we did is we built around it and we finished off the inside and turned it into a gift shop.
Incredible.
Okay, let's go take a look.
All right.
Okay, so we're coming into the front area. As you can see, it's very narrow and it's long. We put this old tin ceiling in here.
Yeah.
So onto the railroad car, we added this other section, and we use this for a lot of our home decor items. We've got some old antique display cases in here, but there's just a lot of things that folks like to put up in their homes here. We call it, once again, we call this the Country Cottage. So you'll notice there are a lot of farm implements around here as you walk around the grounds, but one of the ones that's my favorite is this old tractor, this John Deere. And the reason it's so special is that I used to drive this tractor out here on the field.
Really?
Yeah, when we used to grow hay, I drove this and we'd pull a hay wagon behind it and pick up hay with it. So it's near and dear to my heart.
There's not just a lot of history here, Charlie. There's a lot of family and a lot of personal history here.
No question about it.
How does this make you feel when you get an opportunity to give a tour and to see all these things that were so important in your life growing up?
Well, in a word, it makes me feel old.
Sorry I asked.
Because this is a very old tractor, and I used to drive it. But no, it makes me feel proud too, in a humble sort of a way, because there have been so many people here at the farm that have been a part of the story. It's a lot of people have contributed to make the farm what it is. Mike, one thing I want to show you is, you've seen it before, I think, is our chicken truck.
Yeah.
We affectionately call this baby our cluck truck. It came, if you can believe this, all the way from Chicago, Illinois.
Wow.
My wife and I drove back there once with a trailer, picked it up and brought it all the way out here. And it's a very special part of the farm. So Mike, a number of years ago, we built the gazebo here. We wanted a place where folks could sit on a warm summer evening and talk. And then just on the other side of the gazebo is our aviary. That's where the peacocks are.
Oh, okay.
And then we've got the carousel horses. The kids love those.
Sure.
And then our playground. Kids love the playground. That's been here since the early 90s.
I'll have to remember this next year for the Christmas card.
And then something that's really unique, most restaurants don't have a tree house. One winter we had a very early frost like we have in Lakewood in Colorado, as you know. And that early frost actually killed the tree off. And I was getting ready to cut it down, and my mom said, well, why don't you build a tree house?
Charlie, I know that kids are obviously very, very important as part of families. And like with my own kids, we had a tradition that on their birthday they could pick any restaurant they wanted to go to, and they always picked White Fence Farm. How does it make you feel knowing that you've got second and third generation families coming through your doors?
Well, it makes me feel kind of special. It really does. And I think families come back. I have any number of times I've had people come up and say, I remember coming here as a kid, and now look, I've got my kids with me. And that's pretty special. I think we create memories for families, and they want to carry that forward. So you probably noticed we have a stream that runs down through the property. It's called Sanderson Gulch, and it comes down into these little ponds that we put in here. It's a stream that runs year-round, and the flow depends on the time of year. And obviously, as you can see, we've got some friends that call this home. Kids love to come out here on the dock and feed the ducks.
Charlie, this was one of the things that always impressed me. You sure have a lot of longevity when it comes to employees.
You know, of all the things that I'm proudest of around here it's this board, I think, because this is what makes White Fence Farm work, is our staff. We have such a great staff, and we're so fortunate to have these people and the people that were on this board in years past. This is a board with pictures of all the people who have been with us for 5 years or longer. And so it's really a special occasion for our staff when they get to that 5-year mark. This is what makes the farm. You know, the farm is just a building with a bunch of walls. These are the people that make it what it is.
This room and the Rose Room were always my favorite.
The room you're sitting in used to be a barracks out at Lowry Airfield Base, World War II. In 1972 and 73, when we finished the building off, as I said, this was the oldest part of the building. So we had the fireside room and the Rose Room that you said were your two favorite areas. And in fact, this is an adult-only area now. A lot of times folks come out here with children, and you know they need big tables and a lot of space, and we have the harvest room and the heritage room for that. But oftentimes couples come out and they want kind of a quiet area, and so this is reserved for adults in this area.
Great. You really are able to accommodate a large, different, diverse group of people, from the large parties to the families with kids to just the single couples too. Yeah,
we have. I mean, there aren't many restaurants that you can walk into with 10, 15, 20 people and hope to get a table. And that happens here regularly, where we get a big group. Hey, we have a new staff member here at the farm. Welcome to the farm family.
Well, thank you.
So there's your green hat and your green shirt. We're going to get that on you, we're going to get an apron on you, and we're going to show you how to cook.
Very good. And now with the kitchen manager, Michael. Michael, what's the first thing we're going to do?
Well, the first thing that we're going to do, thinking that safety is tantamount to our business here, we were going to ask you to wash your hands.
Okay.
Make sure you use plenty of soap.
All right.
Obviously, to steam our chicken, you're going to need a lot of fresh chicken.
Wow, that is a lot of fresh chicken.
Each cart holds 200 orders of chicken. First thing you want to do is go ahead and load our steamers here with the
All
chicken.
right. Get this one first, maybe?
Yep.
Okay.
In each one of these baskets, we have 5 orders of chicken. That would be 5 breasts, 5 legs, 5 wings, and 5 thighs. Okay.
Okay, are we good there?
Yep, we are. All of our chicken is in the chamber.
All right.
Now what we need to do is seal this chamber up. That way we can have the steam actually do its thing. Open up the steaming mechanism here, and then the steam itself actually comes in through a pipe on the side. Just open that up. The work is done for us until that actually comes up to pressure and cooks for us. Now that it has released enough pressure and we're actually collecting some chicken stock, we're going to open up this chamber. Don't be afraid whenever you hear that burst of steam opening up there. And what we will have is freshly steamed chicken, and it's cooked all the way to the bone.
You could eat that right now. I mean, it's cooked.
It's fully cooked just like this.
Wow.
The secret to actually cooking our chicken, and we do it as the order comes in. So we get an order of chicken on one of our printers, then we start our cooking. I'm gonna let you take care of this.
Okay.
We're gonna need you to actually take that basket of chicken, lift it up into one of these baskets, drop half of it in there, and half of it in here. All right?
Okay. All right. So just
Go ahead and lift that up, put that in there.
all right.
Set it in the oil. And then we're gonna need you to press one of these timers here. That's how long it cooks. That's the entire time that it's in the
Wow.
fryer.
So, what is the secret for White Fence Farm chicken not being greasy?
Well, the chicken is already fully cooked. And when it comes out of the steamers, the meat is completely cooked. You could eat it just like that. But since we do fried chicken here, obviously we're going to fry it, and it's only sitting in the oil for 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
Wow.
Total time. All we're doing at this point is heating up the meat and crisping up the outside. Okay, so our chicken is now done cooking. What we're going to do is we're going to pull it out of the oil, see how
that
beautiful
looks
that
great.
is. We're
Yeah.
actually going to combine these 2 baskets, and then we're going to knock off the excess oil off of the chicken. To do that, we're actually going to bounce it off onto these hard rubber bouncers.
Uh-huh.
I want you to give that a try so you
Okay.
can get a feel for how much that is.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? When we bounce that off approximately 12 times, we're actually going to take that chicken and we're going to set it into one of these
Okay.
tubs here.
Pour it in here?
Yes, sir.
All right.
So, Mike, what do you think? Like to try a piece?
Are you kidding? He's asking me if I want to try a piece? Oh, yeah. This is great chicken. Obviously, the restaurant business is a very, very competitive business. What are some of the additional things that you feel are important to keep people coming back?
Well, I don't want to make it sound too simple, but at the end of the day, you got to serve the hot food hot and the cold food cold. And if you can get that to the table that way, you're one up on a lot of places. But then, of course, if you really want to be successful, you've got to serve that hot food and cold food in a restaurant that has atmosphere. It's got to be a place that's clean and neat, and you've got to have great service. And we do our best to make all of those things happen.
For a restaurant that has such a beautiful history, everything here is sparkling clean. How do you keep it so fresh and new?
You may or not, you're probably aware, every year we close for the month of January, and people say, why in the world do you close in January? One of the reasons we close in January is so we don't go crazy, because we're working in the restaurant business, you're working nights, you're working weekends, you're working holidays, and so it's very intense. So we close in January to all take a little time off, but then the other thing we do in January is we come in when nothing's happening around here, and we fix things up. We repaint walls, we recarpet floors, we pull all the equipment out of the kitchen, we thoroughly clean. And
So Charlie, looking ahead, what do you see as the future for White Fence Farm?
I would say a lot of the same. We try to not change too quickly, and I think that's why we have second and third generations, maybe even fourth generations come back, because they come back and they remember what it used to be like, and they want to see that and experience that again. Sure, it would be crazy to say we're not going to have to change some things. And in fact, right now, while I'm thinking about it, we just in the near future, we're going to introduce a chicken noodle soup. We've never had soup here at the farm. So little things like that, but hopefully not a lot of big changes anyway.
I can tell you a little secret. In the 30 years that I've been coming here, I've only had the fried chicken. The fried chicken is just so spectacular.
No.
I know you got other stuff on the menu.
Okay, well, the deal is about 70 to 80% of what we serve is the fried chicken. But you have got to try the broiled fish. It is just dynamic. I'm not a liver fan, but we have people tell us that our calf liver is just amazing. We have a New York steak and a T-bone steak that we age ourselves, so it's very tender. We have a deep fried shrimp that's delicious. We have a deep fried Icelandic cod that's very good. People swear by our pork chops. We have 2 really thick, succulent pork chops that we serve with some trimmings. And then we have roast turkey. You don't have to wait for Thanksgiving to get roast turkey. You can come to the farm every night and have roast turkey and dressing and mashed potatoes and gravy.
I guess I really do need to broaden my horizons, don't I?
Yeah. You know, let your kids order the chicken and you try something else, okay?
Charlie, of all the things that you do here, what is the one thing that you would focus on that brings you personally the most pleasure?
You know, that's pretty easy, I guess. I would say it's our staff. You know, a lot of people look at staffing as a problem, but we have so many great people, and I talked to you earlier about the young people that start here. And just getting to know those kids and kind of helping them along, and it's just fun because they're energetic. And so for me, just working with we call them our farm family, we talked about that earlier, I think that's the best part of the whole thing.
Thanks for watching the December edition of Lakewood Open for Business. And think of White Fence Farm this winter when friends and family come to visit for the holidays. Oh! And be sure to join us next month when we learn to ski right here in Lakewood. And by the way, happy holidays from all of us here at KLTV Channel 8.